Call to order to the regular meeting of the Spotswood Borough Council. We're going to have a salute to the flag and a moment of silence. I'd like you to keep in your thoughts and prayers the family of Carolyn Fa. She is the daughter of Kathleen Phelps, who worked here in the borough for many years with Mayor Zagnit, and I think, was she under Mayor Barlow too?
Yes.
Mayor Barlow too. And then also Mrs. Paul Buckley passed. Paul Buckley is someone I work closely with at the county for the CDBG grant, and his wife passed. So keep them in your prayers.
And President George Herbert Walker Bush.
Oh my goodness, and absolutely President George Bush.
Jose.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You know, it's interesting commenting on President George Herbert Walker Bush.
Yes.
I've been hearing so much about him and his career, and much more than I've ever knew before. What a statesman he was, so well prepared for the presidential role, and we are just so fortunate as a country to have had him as a leader, and I just want to say that. The notice requirements provided in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given in the new scheduled meetings of the Spotswood Borough Council on December 27, 2017. The new schedule was transmitted to the Home News Tribune and Sentinel. It was filed with the clerk of the Borough of Spotswood and posted in the municipal building located at 77 Summerhill Road, Spotswood, New Jersey. Thank you, Kurt.
Okay.
Thank you, Pat.
Councilman Stolen?
Here.
Councilman Ritchie?
Here.
Councilman Malillo?
Here.
Councilman Rivera?
Here.
Council President Rhodes?
Here.
Mayor Sealy?
Here.
We have some minutes from November 7th, 2018, the caucus minutes.
I make a motion to remove the caucus minutes from November 7th.
Second.
Councilman Stolen?
Yes.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yeah.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Council President Rhodes?
Yes.
We have the minutes from November 7th, 2018, regular minutes.
Make a motion, we move
Make
those
the
minutes.
motion. 11/7, regular meeting, minutes.
Councilman Stolen?
Yes.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Council President Rhodes?
Yes, and thank you. They were very thorough and accurate.
That's due to Alyssa.
Thank you.
We have the ordinance on second reading. This is a public hearing. The ordinance 2018-7 was posted in the Spotswood Municipal Building on November 8th, 2018, and advertised in full in the Home News Tribune on November 12th, 2018. Public hearing was set for December 3rd. An ordinance of the Borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 2, Administration of Government, Article 11, Department of Health, Recreation, and Welfare, Section 2-68, Division of Recreation.
I make a motion we open this ordinance for a public hearing.
Second.
Councilman Stolen?
Yes.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Council President Rhodes?
Yes. Dawn, you want to talk about it?
This is just amending the structure of the actual board and the terms and number of members.
Is there anybody who's interested in coming up and commenting on it?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
So second.
Councilman Stolen?
Yes.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Council President Rhodes?
Yes, so I move that the ordinance be adopted on second and final reading and be published according to law.
Second.
Councilman Stolen?
Yes.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Council President Rhodes?
Yes.
We have an ordinance on first reading, ordinance 2018-8, Public hearing is set for December 17, 2018. An ordinance amending and supplementing the salary ordinance of the Borough of Spotswood entitled An Amendment to an Ordinance Fixing and Establishing the Salaries and Wages of Certain Employees of the Borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey.
Make a motion, we move the ordinance, set a public hearing for December 17th.
Second.
Councilman Stolen?
No.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
No.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rhodes?
Yes.
Okay, that's 2/3. We have an ordinance of, ordinance 2018-9. It's on first reading. Public hearing is set for December 17, 2018. An ordinance to amend the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Spotswood by amending Chapter 205, Water and Sewers, Article 1, Section 205-7, Water Rates, and Article 5, Charges and Rates for Sewers, Section 2005-27, Rate for Residential Users, 2005-28, Rate for Commercial Users, and 2005-29, Rate for Industrial Users.
Make a motion, we pass the resolution?
Ordinance.
Ordinance?
Second.
Councilman Stolen?
Yes.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Council President Rhodes?
Yes.
Council President and council members, I'll take a motion to accept the resolutions on the consent agenda. Resolutions 2018-166 through 2018-169.
Make a motion, we pass the resolutions?
Second.
Councilman Stolen?
Yes.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Council President Rhodes?
Yes. I guess we'll have the liaison reports next. Let's start with Jose. Jose, do you have anything?
The only thing we have is just the Santa run is on the 15th.
Ah,
9 o'clock starts, so if you hear the sirens, just go to the nearest hydrant. And that's it.
great. That's always a great event. Santa and his helpers are out there all day on Saturday. They're all volunteers, and they visit every hydrant in town to give goodies and spread cheer throughout the day. So thank you to the Santa and all his volunteers.
There was something else though.
Oh, go ahead.
If anybody wants to donate gifts, new gifts and everything, the fire department does a Christmas Eve, they go to the hospitals. They go to Perth Amboy, Robert Wood, and also Children's Hospital. So if you want to donate gifts, just drop them off at the firehouse. That's it.
Hey, great. Ted?
As was mentioned earlier, sadly, Saturday night, we had to cancel the Christmas tree lighting because of inclement weather.
Not a bond ordinance, so
Other than that, that's about it for
I just want to be
recreation.
sure.
Thank you, Ted. Kurt?
I had the pleasure of watching our mayor be interviewed on Comcast down at the League of Municipalities, and I have to say how proud I was to see him represent us there. Did a great job, looked informed, looked comfortable. Nice job, Ed.
Thank you.
Yes, round of applause.
You got
I-
lucky. You got lucky. It was early in the day.
No, it wasn't. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you
Oh,
looked
my-
very
yes.
spiffy.
That's early for
And
me.
I was there in person to see him, and he was a rock star. And actually, they told him he's welcome back anytime to discuss issues on the TV station. And Ed, you know, I hope we can make that happen, because you truly were very
Oh, we're
polished.
going to make it happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not
Good
blushing.
point,
This ties are
Kurt.
tight. All right, I only got the...
John, go ahead.
Yeah, I got the Board of Ed. Board of Education, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at the library, high school. 7 o'clock, Board of Ed. It's a meeting there, 7 o'clock. That's it.
Thank you, John.
That's it for now, because I got, all the ones are later. I give the holidays and stuff, they're later. We'll be back-
Oh, okay.
We'll be back here on the 17th.
Okay, very good. So I have a couple of things from the Office on Aging. Good morning, Mayor Saley and council members. I want to pass on a heartwarming and wonderful thank you our office received from the recent military donation drive. We spoke about that at one of our prior meetings. Jonathan Darmartino, I'm butchering. D'Armiento was one of 3 soldiers we sent care packages to in October, and we are so touched by his video below. So I didn't get a chance to see it, but Donna wanted to pass it along to all of us. She states, we plan to continue to reach out to active servicemen and women from our community in 2019 and let them know how much we appreciate their sacrifices. I will keep you posted regarding the next donation drive, and this was just a terrific thing.
I had a chance to watch the video.
Did ya?
It is awakening to see just how young these people are that are serving our country over there. It's really something to see.
Well, thank God they are.
Yes, they are,
Right?
yeah.
The other thing is, the December community calendar came out from this Office on Aging, and Beth Blatt puts this together, the Administrative Assistant Program Coordinator for the center, and I got to tell you, it is chock full. If you retire and you have nothing to do, you could fill your full-time activities for all kinds of activities throughout the week. They have them every day of the week, and knitting and crocheting, craft class, art, chair yoga, relaxed breathing, bingo, young at heart chorus, computer class. There's nothing that they don't do down there with the limited resources and space that we give them. So I got to say, kudos to those staff. They truly offer a great, well-rounded program to our residents. And we are small here in Spotswood, but we are mighty in terms of our staff. The other thing is, I was blessed to receive an email from the borough. We're having a pajama party on December 14th. If you donate to the Patrolman Powers Fund, is Andy still here? No, he's not here, the patrolman. They're raising money for Duchenne's disease, dystrophy, which Trent has, and we're raising money for him to donate for his cause. And he's an official member of our patrol, our police department, and so for anyone who the employees, I think they're offering to come in your pajamas, not negligees, please, just pajamas. And I did send an email out about that, but and to bring in something to donate for Trent. So if anybody from the community would like to do that too, I welcome you to drop off donations to our police department for Trent. The other thing is I was blessed to be able to attend with Dawn McDonald, our BA, an event held by the county, and it's a leadership engagement event that they had at Middlesex County College on Thursday. And in that, really, the freeholders are reaching out to us about what we want from the communities, like what kind of shared services could they do. They did presentations on the Code Blue, and Jose, you know about that, and how we can set up our own Code Blue centers. Do you want to just speak briefly about the Code Blue protocol
Blue
we
is
have
just
here?
When temperatures go below 32, we have to have some kind of a shelter area for somebody to keep warm. The municipal building is one of them. The library and the senior center is also in a shelter area during business hours. And that's mostly what it is. It's just to keep yourself warm.
And it's nice that we have that fallback program in case we do run into a situation with power being out and electric heat and, those kind of things, or homeless individuals who sleep on the streets. We really don't want anybody on the streets at all, ever. But in the case of someone, especially when it gets very cold, they could die out there, and they have across the nation. So it's something that the county encourages us, if we're small, like maybe there could be 3 or 4 small towns who would want to designate an area that would be open 24 hours rather than just business hours to house those individuals who are homeless in our small towns. And there are homeless individuals in Spotswood. You know, it's hard to believe, but they're here. So we need to make plans to address their needs. So they talked about that. And Dawn, what was the second thing they talked about?
The mayor's actually going to talk about the second part.
Oh, okay. I won't steal his thunder. And I shouldn't have spoke before him. Ed, go right ahead.
You have to speak before me.
Oh, do I?
You're the
Okay.
council president.
All
That's
right.
the other part of it?
Yes.
Okay. We'll get to that in a second. First, there's also another toy drive in town done by the Spotswood Municipal Drug and Alcohol Alliance. It has already begun. It's our annual Christmas toy drive for 2018. They're looking for you to bring an unwrapped toy for a boy or girl aged from newborn to 18 years old to the Spotswood Municipal Building, 77 Summer Hill Road, Spotswood, New Jersey. Gifts will be accepted from now through December 15th. Donations may also be able to be picked up by committee members depending on location. Gift cards, cash, or checks are also welcome, used for gifts as needed. These should be mailed in and payable to Spotswood Municipal Alliance to the above address. The gifts will be personally delivered to each child in St. Peter's Hospital. It is hoped that you will help us bring some joy to a child and their family while in their hospital stay during the holidays. This is run by Dawn Crandall, who is the head of our Spotswood Drug Alliance. Has been for quite so many years now. And I believe Jose already spoke about Santa coming on December 15th. I know I'll be running down to the fire hydrant. I ain't gonna miss my little Santa Claus in Canacane. Now, a lot of you are probably looking at that lovely box sitting up here on the thing. It's actually a suggestion box, and it's from Middlesex County. It's their master plan box. That's why it's called 2040. There's a lot of jokes being made about that, but I guess that's about when they plan to get everything totally in effect. I have questionnaires. The questionnaires are basically about you. You don't have to put your name on here. There's no place for a name. It's just your age group. You know, do you own a house? Male, female, ethnicity, your salary ranges, your zip codes. But the best part is the back part.
Pass it to Patty.
The back part, they'd like to know what you like about living or working in Middlesex County, and what would you change about Middlesex County? Now, this suggestion box doesn't mean that you have to worry about just the county, because keep in mind, when they say county, they mean county roads.
Yes.
There's been a great,
Yes.
much discussion about sidewalks on Manalapan Road. I'd sure like to see that box stuffed with them. As well as we're trying to get some extra funding for our lake, let's stuff the box with that as well. So anything you can think of that's going to benefit our community, it'd be a good idea to write in this little space and slide in this box. Excuse me?
Add sheets?
You can add sheets.
Ed, I would say distribute them right now to everybody here. If you need a pen, I have a couple of pens here. Please feel free to fill them out tonight and put them in the box. And we'll have
What else?
it'll be located, additional boxes will be located and ballots
Throughout the town.
throughout the
Areas.
town, senior center.
The main one will be here.
Library.
But this is our chance to speak up about what we're looking for. Yes, sir. The return date,
Tonight.
2040. No.
No, tonight.
Tonight would be, the return date for you, because you got one in your hand tonight. But the county does not have a return date on here?
Keeping it for a month or?
Oh, we plan on keeping it here until they pick it up, but they don't have a date.
Okay, all right.
I would say the sooner the better. No, that we have to let them know.
It's going to be a few months, because they're going around all the towns in Middlesex County.
Thank you. And the reason I call it 2040, with all joking aside, is these are plans they're going to try to institute within the next 20 years. So that means it could happen next year, the year after.
We're going to publish what we can.
Yes, but do me one favor, and this is all joking aside. Don't put spots on it anywhere.
Well, it is specific.
Lied, 0831. No, I know, I'm joking.
Ed, did we hear anything about the discretionary grant from DOT?
We have not heard back from discretionary grade. I know Dawn has called there herself. I have called there myself twice. I'll reach out again tomorrow.
And that's another suggestion for the suggestion box, too.
Getting back to, let me see, I covered that, I covered this. Going to the lake.
Yeah.
I know Marge is trying to spearhead a meeting with us in the county to sit down with them to discuss the lake. I've just got some good news tonight. I am going to meet with Governor Murphy next Wednesday. So when I do, I'll be bringing up several topics, the lake being mostly one of them, the largest one. I will put a mention in there for my council and their feelings towards the legalization of marijuana. I'll do what I can, but I will be there with other mayors. And it's the first chance to get hands-on-hands with Governor Murphy and really let him know what's going on.
Nice.
And I'm not going to disclose the place because I don't want a whole lot of people there.
Communication is key, actually, to our leadership, and I want to thank Senator Dagnan, because I reached out to him too, and he's been very responsive to us. And I think they all recognize, and I spoke about it at the Meet the Mayor. I also spoke about it at this freeholder get-together last Thursday evening, and I said, truly, this is not a Spotswood problem. This is a regional problem, and we need help with this. And the business administrator from East Brunswick was there, Jamesburg, BA was there. They all agree it is a regional problem. It's not something that we can address as a small thing, because they're looking for more money than we raise every year for our budget, our total borough council budget. So we cannot do this and by ourselves. We need help. So that's great, Ed, that you're meeting with Governor Murphy, and you'll have his ear for a little while to tell him what is a common sense fact. We cannot, just because we're the lowest point in the county and that's where DeVoe Lake is, doesn't mean that's only our problem. It's everyone's problem. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Pretty much, did they ever decide to reinstitute that flood council? Did that ever come back to fruition?
No, I asked about it. Actually, I was on it with Tom Barlow way back in the day, and I heard the interest wasn't there, and they just never resurrected it again. I never heard anything more from it. I was on the original committee. But I think, you know what, until it hits you and it impacts you, there's no interest. But it's certainly hitting us. And I gotta say, we had the rain event. I was on the phone with Jose. It was only a couple of days of heavy rain, and already the thing was up to almost flooding DeVoe Avenue again. So this was not even a hurricane. It wasn't a big flood. It was just a couple of days of heavy rain.
Well, that had a little bit to do, and Jose will probably correct me if
Right.
I'm wrong, but it had a little bit to do with the coordinating of opening gates.
Correct.
Yes.
So,
Lack of.
yeah.
There we
So-
go. That's the word I was looking for.
So that again speaks to communication and how key it is that Thompson Park and the county coordinate with us when they open all of their gates, and we get all that rush downwind, and then Old Bridge doesn't open their gates, and then we get all the stuff in between, and so we need to address that.
Yes, and that's
Jose, do
probably-
you want to comment on it a little bit?
As of right now, no.
Okay. Okay, enough said. What's next? Open to the public?
Make a motion open to the public.
Yes, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This is your time to come up and make comments on any issue at all that are impacting your life. Thank you.
Jose, you know this woman?
Wish you didn't. Actually, two things. Dulce Branco Rivera, 46 Herbert Avenue. The recreation thingamajigger, just clarification. So Diane doesn't get her stipend anymore?
Oh, yes, she does.
Oh,
She's a part-time director, yep.
okay, I just...
And plus, we budget for all of the other activities and stuff. It comes out of
No,
the
no,
borough.
that's fine. It just, because it said nobody gets payment, I just thought that maybe.
The committee members.
Actually, two people do.
That's fine.
Spiegelhoff and his secretary.
Okay, so I'm here because I don't like loose ends, and I want to tie everything up in a package before I go off into the sunset, so I want to make sure that everybody is aware. Mayor knows that I've been talking to him for well over a year about moving the voting booths out of the schools. This is something that the board desperately wants. This year, we instituted some new security rules for the school. So now we ask parents to make appointments before they come to the building, whenever possible. We ask them to bring photo ID, and so they have to show ID to come to the building and to enter the building, and nobody walks through the buildings unless you have a very specific reason. Otherwise, you're escorted throughout the building. This is all in preparation for come next year. In the spring, we anticipate starting construction on the vestibules. Every school will get a new vestibule, which means solid doors. It's going to be like a closed-in area. I'm sure you've seen it in other places. There's going to be a teller window where you're going to put your ID through. There's going to be a scanner that reads your ID. And you're actually going to do business at the teller window. And you're only going to come into the school if there's a very specific reason. Pick up a sick kid, have an appointment with the principal or a teacher. So nobody's going to be able to walk through the building anymore. All, of course, in the name of security for the schools, because we do what we can. All that, by the way, is coming in from capital budget, so don't worry about that. Anyway, so just so everyone is completely aware, Appleby School will no longer be able to be used as a voting place. The vestibule in Appleby is going to be completely changed. So when you walk in, the wall on the right-hand side where you put the voting booth, that's going to be the entrance into the office. The wall's coming down, there's going to be a door there, there's going to be a window there. There's not going to be any place in that vestibule for a voting booth. With that, Sholney is the school I always worry about the most, because Sholney is our most vulnerable population. There is nobody in that school moving anywhere quickly, okay? We're talking about kids from the age of 3 to 6, maybe 7. You've all had kids, you all know these kids don't move anywhere fast. So if something happens in that school, it becomes a big problem. I've looked up rules and regulations about moving voting booths, and NJSA 19:8-2 says that on or before April 1st, the township, the county clerk, has to send a list of suggested voting places to the county. And from that list, the county will choose where you put your voting booths. So to me, by reading the statute, it says that when you send your list this coming year, you don't include the schools. I understand that there might be some difficulties with that, but I've also been told, and this happened before me, long before I think I even moved to town, there used to be a voting booth at the high school, and we moved it out of the high school to come, I guess, here. I don't know. I'm sure you guys know better than I. So it seemed to me if you move that one, you can move the other 2 out of the schools. It just makes sense for today's age to not have people wandering through the buildings, strangers really, wandering through our buildings, because when it's open for voting, we can't ask people for ID at the door. If they tell us they're there to vote, they just wander on in. And things, as you know, happen very quickly. So I want everyone to be aware, Appleby School is not going to be available. The construction should be starting in the spring, at the very latest, the day after school ends, because we want them to be functional and available and ready for September. So that's September 1st. Everybody goes through the vestibules from now on.
Dolce,
Okay.
thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. Pat, so we have Crescent Park, we have the Firehouse, we have the Knights of Columbus, and we have the municipal building. Appleby, Sholney, correct?
Clearwater.
Clearwater, sorry, meant Clearwater.
May I say something?
Sure, absolutely.
I suggest that the Board of Education contact the County Board of Elections and explain what you're going to do with the school, because they are the ones, even though I send a letter with suggested places for polling places, they need to know what the school is doing so they can agree with you to move the voting places out.
I did contact the county, and they sent me back to the township. They want the communication to come from the township.
Dulce, can you send us a letter
So-
to the borough?
Ask that.
Yeah.
Send
We
me
will send you a
something.
letter, actually, I started it today.
Terrific.
I'll send you a letter, but they want the communication to come from the township to the county. They don't want it from the school.
And then we'll just scan and send that letter off to the county
But
people.
that's what they tell me. I talked to them in great length, and we are the only Board of Education that is moving the voting districts out of the school.
I've spoken to a lot of other people from other boards, and everyone wants them out of the schools. In fact,
And that's
I
okay
think-
with me.
And I think
Truly,
actually,
The security of the
Senator
kids.
Greenstein has put something into play where she's trying to work it so that it becomes a rule or something. I don't know. I haven't really dug into that one just yet, because I'm, at this point, concerned about my district, which is, my number one is here. So I will send you that letter so that
Thank you.
you have it, and then you can take it from there.
Yeah, and let's do it quickly, because June will be here next year very quickly.
That's the next election.
Very much so.
Right, and I have to notify all of the people in those districts where they would be going, and I have to find a place for them to go.
We are committed to having that many districts continue, yeah, okay. So then we have doubles at Firehouse, maybe we can do double here.
do
There's no
doubles.
parking at the firehouse.
But we could probably do doubles in the Knights of Columbus. We have plenty of parking there in a large hall.
And we could probably have double here.
And
Might
we
be-
have to get their permission.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they wouldn't hold back on that.
Well, who would get their permission? Pat, should we send a letter to the leadership over at the Knights of Columbus,
I can
the
do
Columbian
that.
Club?
Club.
That's not a problem, and
Okay.
and Ted is in the club.
So
But,
maybe we need to do a formal
Can we
notification.
do 2 here in the municipal building?
no,
Not at all?
nothing else will fit in here
Okay.
because of the fixed seating.
What's
And the
closing first,
firehouse is a
Shonley?
problem because there's no parking.
What's
They're both
closing
We're
closed.
first?
doing all the schools next year.
Which one's closing down first? Shonley for the,
Appleby Schools is the one that you can't use at all, but Shonley is the more dangerous one. That's why we want them both gone. Because
Okay.
Shonley, they actually walk past classrooms. The preschool classrooms, actually, the disabled preschool classrooms.
Thank you.
They walk right past them to get to where they're supposed to go. And I had some people tell me this year they actually had to stop because the kids were going back to lunch or wherever they were going, and they didn't want to get in the way of the line. So you've got strangers walking in between these kids. It just shouldn't be that way, not in today's day and age. It just shouldn't.
Dulce, I'm right there with you.
Thank you.
Okay? So let's look at, any suggestions from the
Columbian
panel? I mean, from the
Columbian Club
panel?
may be able to take 3 in there if we can get them to agree to it.
District 1, which is over there, is our largest district. These are a little bit smaller, but there's at least 700 in each district that we would move over there.
Maybe a second one at Clearwater?
No,
No?
you can't have the
Parking
people
issues.
running all over town. The districts were set up for where people live. There's district
I
lines.
know, shop at home, ShopRite. We'll put it right by shop.
We can't do that. We can't
I don't
have
know.
any outsiders walking in while there's voting going on.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Districts may have been originally worked out so that you vote where you live. I live 2 blocks away from Shoalney. I come to Appleby. And Graham Peabody, who lives behind the high school, goes over to Shoalney. So we swap.
Well, I didn't make up the districts,
No,
but
I know, I'm sure that's the way it started.
Okay,
but
thank you,
since then,
Dulce.
It's not like that anymore.
I think we're very receptive to what your message is, and I know it will be an inconvenience to change,
Bring it here.
but it sounds like it's something that should be, will be done for next year. And I'm looking at the 2 newly elected councilmen there.
How many machines here? What?
So the only thing left to really discuss, anybody else for public? Cheryl?
Yes, the council president has said we're a small town, our resources are limited with what we are able to do. I want to take note and especially thank Kurt Stolen, who has been a longtime council member, and he has spoken out about the prevailing wage. That has been a long time message coming from Kurt Stolen. We're a small town, our resources are limited, and we don't have money for big city items. We can't afford to hire these union people to do work in the town, it's a burden on the taxpayers. So you gave me the opportunity to thank Councilman
Oh.
Stolen for all of the times that he has looked to keep the budget way down here in Spotswood. Thank
We
you.
keep hammering it, but sometimes you're just banging your head on the wall. I've tried and tried. We've made some we made it a big public issue at one point at Atlantic City, and it got some play, but it's a tough fight.
It won't be forgotten for future council meetings.
Thank you, Cheryl. And certainly, we will thank Kurt at our next meeting. We will have a formal thank
In
you to
March.
him. And for all his great work over the years. Welcome.
I trust everybody knows, Richard
Wait.
Skelly, Manalapan Road, Spotswood.
Okay.
I trust everybody knows that January 19th or January 18th of next year is the big meeting for the Save Frost Woods Coalition. Borough is representing some of the people from East Brunswick and Spotswood, I guess. Pro bono, I assume. And Kurt, I know you said like this is a done deal, it's going to go through, it's a done deal, but I don't think so. And, you know, I think everyone
I
should
hope not.
make an effort to get out, including our esteemed mayor and, hopefully there won't be a conflict that night, with a council meeting or something, All right, thanks. That's it.
Thank you, Richard. I spoke to Mayor Cohen about that issue, and it is going to happen. I don't know to the extent it will happen, but they are developing that property, as they have a right to do as the property owner. But hopefully the impact will be lessened by the activism of our citizens. Anybody else from the public?
What did you say the day of the meeting was? What day did you say the meeting was?
I think he said,
We close public portion.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a closed session.
SaveFrost.com.
I just want to highlight, guys, I just want to highlight, the lake is not forgotten. We have it as an agenda item on the engineer's report every meeting. I hope that continues, because this is something, we're not losing that money. We're not letting that money go to waste. We are going to do that lake. And truly, that is top of mind of everybody for priorities on the council. And so we're going to move forward with that, continuing on the agenda of the engineer's report to keep it in everybody's front of mind. So that will, and that's ongoing, and that's a lot, some of that is behind the scenes. And now, Pat, go ahead.
We have a closed session. I don't believe that any action will be taken after the closed session. Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231 PL 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey as follows. The public shall be excluded from discussion of any action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows. It will be shared services. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public when confidentiality is no longer required. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Make a motion to pass the resolution?
Second?
Councilman Stolen?
Yes.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Council President Rhodes?
Yes. Our next meeting will be Monday, December 17th, 2018, at 7:30 PM. I promise I'll be on time. And thank you all for coming. We are going to go into a close, so I'd ask you to vacate the courtroom.
I make a motion, we close the closed, reopen the open?
Reopen, close, close.
For purposes of the record, Councilman Malillo mistakenly voted no on ordinance 18-8, and he meant to vote yes. So Pat has already changed that. He told her immediately after the vote.
Oh, no. Yes.
So he's a yes one.
Yes, one.
And there's a second reading.
All Slipping in mind, that's all right, I'm getting there, though. We all gonna get
Okay.
there.
Thank
do it
you.
every day.
Thank you, everyone. Next meeting's Monday, December 17th
Make a
at
motion.
7:30.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody, ayes.
Meeting adjourned.